Hello and welcome to News Tonight. I am Rhoda Ngonzi, on sign language Elizabeth Nakakoni. Let's take a look at the top stories. President Museveni calls for private sector involvement in job creation at 62nd Independence Anniversary. OPM and NCDC collaborate with York Express for curriculum design and modernization, while KCCA orders immediate evacuation near Kitezi dumping site. And Brigadier Kwaso withdraws from Uganda Netball presidential elections rest, citing electoral process irregularities. Hello once again. President Yoweri Museveni has expressed hope in Uganda's continuous social and economic progress growth. Now, the president, who cites 67% of Ugandans being in the money economy, attributes the success to development initiatives such as Operation Wealth Creation, National Agriculture Advisory Services, and now the Parish Development Model. President Museveni expressed this while in Busia during celebrations to mark the 62nd independence anniversary of Uganda.
This was the kind of setup at Busia Primary Teachers College in Busia district, where President Yoweri Museveni was received to a memorable welcome. The parade formation that he inspected was a new one, punctuated by new drills to the astonishment of celebrants.
I want to congratulate the army. Instead of the parade staying there the whole day standing, now they have done their work and they have gone. So I want to congratulate General Ngonzi for bringing that rationality. The old parade, we got it from our brothers, but it is time to reform them. I congratulate them.
As UPDF led the parade march past, the message from the president remained emphatic on wealth creation.
For boosting the economy, I must mention the issue of the railways. The old meter gauge that is being repaired and the new standard gauge railway that will go from Malaba to Kampala and Kasese, as well as going from Tororo to Lira, Guru, Nimure. With our petroleum resources, we are going to fund all this. The importance of the railway is to lower transport costs. This makes it easier for business to make profits.
The president expressed hope in the ongoing wealth creation initiatives that he says has seen Ugandans in the market economy grow to 67%.
It is 33% that are still outside the money economy. Kati okuva mu kaweefube ezibaddewo eza NADZ, General Sale Wealth Creation, kati ne PDM, kati kigambibwa nti amaka 67 ku buli 100 kati gayingidde mu kukola ssente. Naye tukyalina amaka 33 ku buli 100 agakyajeemye.
This is also taking the country steps ahead in employment creation, which underscores the need for more private sector involvement.
Public service jobs are only 470,000. The majority of jobs, therefore, must be in the private sector. Already manufacturing is employing 1.2 million people. Services, 5 million people. And yet, this is just the beginning. This is the general message of the NRM.
This, in the long run, will address the challenges of Africa, whose answer, according to Museveni, is integration.
Above all, our ancestors at the coast of East Africa developed for us the neutral, non-tribal Swahili language that can easily unite East and Central Africa, if not beyond. It is therefore feasible to use the similarities and linkages among the 1.5 billion Africans on the continent to achieve powerful economic and, in some cases, even political integration to ensure our prosperity and guarantee our strategic security.
A number of medalists were awarded, including Uganda's consul to India.
I commit that we leave no stone unturned in making all efforts to see to it that all the underprivileged people in Uganda will get the best of the best healthcare from my company. And now we are going to work day and night, set up a center here for cataract surgery.
To grace the event was the President of Central African Republic, Uganda's Vice President Jessica Alupo, among other dignitaries. Story compiled by Henry Okrut for UBC News.
And in the heartfelt tribute to the late civilian war veteran Frederick Lwanga, President Yoweri Museveni emphasized the importance of loving one's country, much like Lwanga. In a speech read for him by Minister Balam Bergahara, President Museveni shared that Lwanga joined the struggle in 1961 and served until 1968 as a civilian commander responsible for recruiting the youth. Now, Lwanga made significant contributions to Uganda's development, and President Museveni urged the youth to embody his spirit, which has shaped the nation's history. He also called on young people and women to utilize government's parish development model funds responsibly. Government officials praised Lwanga's dedicated service to the country, and in support of his family, President Museveni contributed 20 million shillings towards the burial, which took place in Rwamata, Chiboga, Kumba sub-county.
Chairman wa organizing committee y'okuziika Mutaka.
His patriotic spirit, courage, and will be remembered forever. We salute his contribution to our country's freedom, offer our heartfelt sympathies to his family and friends. Lwanga Igodo's backyard, family backyard, was our first center where we put in Kuruma barracks. And 1982, during the war, when we attacked Bukomero, Obote's soldiers' barracks, Lwanga lost his son. Surprisingly, when we returned, Lwanga served the combatants food minus his son. That is how Lwanga stood. He stood for his country.
Kumanyo batubuliranga batulaga ekyokola nga tunoonya emirembe buli omu gye yeeyagaliramu olwaleero.
Kujjanjaba n'ebirala bye sijja kusobola kwogera naye famire yabyogeddeko dda. Ate n'olw'okujjanjaba abalwanyi abalala tulina kati abalwanyi abali muno abasajja abakulu abalwananga ne muzeeyi bangi, era abamu mbalabyeko webali nga muzeeyi Kimbowa okuva ekibiga.
Okubeera nti yeegatta mu kutakaba n'okulaba nti eggwanga lino lifuna emirembe.
May his soul rest in peace. Now, members of the NRM party in South Africa have joined in celebrating Uganda's independence anniversary, extending their heartfelt congratulations to the nation. In a message delivered by the chairperson of the NRM South Africa chapter, Ismail Luzige, the party praised the NRM government for its peaceful leadership, which has successfully guided Uganda through this significant journey.
This year's Independence Day celebrations have been held in Busia district. The NRM members residing in South Africa, Field Chairperson Ismail Luzige, have extended their congratulations to Uganda on this momentous occasion.
I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Uganda, and the people of Uganda upon the 62nd independence anniversary.
The chapter commended the stable and capable leadership of the NRM party, led by President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, for steering Uganda to this point of progress.
As a party in power, we take the lion's share. From 62 independence, as we celebrate the anniversary, we have 38 years of success of the achievement as a party. And as National Resistance Movement, we thank you to stand in the midst of the darkness, to stand for Ugandans, to stand for every Ugandan, right from the grassroots to the last person.
With notable achievements in the fields of education, healthcare and the economy, the South African chapter finds it fitting to celebrate the 62nd independence anniversary.
When you look at our economic growth in 1986, actually we were on the just at the low rate, but now we are on 61%. We thank you on the Department of Health. You've really played a significant role still on improving the health sector in terms of creating health centers 1, health center 2, health center 3, health center 4. Look at security. Uganda, right now where we're standing from 1986, we had a very unstable country in terms of, but at this stage, Uganda is one of the best.
This year's national celebrations were held under the theme Independence Day, a recommitment to secure and fortify Uganda's destiny.
Now, in the fourth part of the 62nd Independence Day series, we examine how the colonialists, having secured the political leadership, turned to the money economy by introducing cash crops.
Beyond political and territorial control, the colonialists had economic benefits and natural resources, plunderism hidden under their religious cloaks. While elephants were being killed for ivory in Karamoja, they decided to use the vast pieces of land they had got under various treaties to grow what they termed as cash crops.
When the British came here, they were looking for something that would make Uganda pay for itself, but also make Uganda productive for their economies. And I think they zeroed on cotton, and then they introduced a type of cotton. I think, was it from Egypt? It was introduced by certain Borup, but there was a combination and alliance between the British colonialist government and the Christian missionaries.
In 1903, cotton was introduced commercially in Uganda as the first major cash crop by a Christian Borup. Now that it was commercial, the crop was mainly grown in Busoga, parts of Lwanga, and some parts of Buganda.
Cotton and later coffee were introduced because the British wanted them, not because we had a comparative advantage of those crops. So in that case, it is a distortion of the economy, where you start growing something that you do not necessarily need or does not necessarily suit you, but because it suits other people's desires and needs.
But while Ugandans grew the cotton, they benefited less because all the value addition was carried out by Asians in Uganda or in Kenya.
Of course, people started to acquire desire for getting money in order to buy cars or buy bicycles or buy a kanzu or buy a bowler hat or buy another corrugated roofed house. Gradually, people came to accept the monetary economy. But initially, people had no desire for getting money.
However, in some other parts of Uganda, like Kigezi and Ankore, they boycotted the colonial cash crops.
The way the Banyankore avoided growing cotton through a certain way of resisting, they would just be given seeds to grow cotton, to plant, and then they would plant them. They would first take the seeds and roast them, then come and plant them, plant the seeds when they are already roasted and they wouldn't germinate. When they were forced to grow coffee initially, they would just be given seedlings. Is it endokwa? You go and plant them at night, you go and boil water, and power it on the roots.
Cotton was majorly grown in the central region, which explains the many now defunct cotton ginories that littered areas of Luwero, Mpigi, Mitiana, Mubende and parts of Busoga, most of which were run by Asians.
But there was also use of force, compulsory growing of cash crops. That's why some stage of coffee is called chiboko. Chiboko is supposed to be a Kiswahili word, I think referring to a hippopotamus. So they used to beat people with the hippo's skin.
Away from cotton growing, coffee was another cash crop introduced by colonialists in the early 1900s. The colonialists placed much emphasis on parts of the central region, including Mukono, Masaka, Luwero, and later highlands of Bugisu and Rwenzori.
Agents, the middlemen for marketing were the Indians. They would buy from the cultivators and either take for processing at ginaries, locally here in Uganda, or coffee hallers, and then take that half-processed coffee or cotton outside.
According to statistics from Uganda Coffee Development Authority, by 1914, Europeans and Asian farmers had established 135 plantations of coffee, occupying 58,000 acres of land across the country. But how were the colonialists enforcing the growing of these cash crops?
A racialized economy was not a good economy. It promoted inequality. Like today, to a certain extent, we have got ethnicized economy, where some ethnic groups are at a higher value chain than other ethnic groups. And that does not augur well for national cohesion. So, the British colonial administration did not do much to integrate Ugandans, to weave Ugandans into one nation state.
However, the crop was abandoned when prices fell in the 1920s.
They did not create those software issues of values, of ideas, of principles that are shared together among Ugandans. So that's how Uganda was left in 1962. It was left like that, like divided, divisive, and the post-colonial governments have inherited those challenges of colonialism. However, that should not be the excuse for remaining what we were, because Uganda was under formal British rule for 68 years. Uganda has been independent for 62 years, more or less the same period. What have Ugandans done to undo colonial divisions? Instead, we have magnified those divisions instead of plugging them and creating a nation state.
The Coffee Board was set up in 1929, later becoming the Coffee Industry Board in 1943 and the Coffee Marketing Board in 1959, with the objective of commercializing, regulating and marketing coffee.
The twin challenges of Uganda today are state building and nation building. I repeat that the twin biggest challenges of Uganda is state formation and nation building, because the British did not weave us together into one nation state, hence the challenges we have had since independence. They not also create a strong state based on meritocracy and equality and freedom, and hence the challenges of a weak state today. And the Ugandans should now brace themselves to form a viable state and a viable nation. If we don't do that and we remain running around these programs, that program, that program, that program, that's not sustainable. If you don't have a nation state, you are not a sustainable country.
Coffee production among African farmers was low and the acreage was insignificant. By 1931, only 17,000 acres were under cultivation. Meanwhile, tea was initially an Indian crop. In 1908, the first plants were introduced in Uganda by Indian traders. It was quickly adopted as a cash crop by the colonial government. But while coffee and cotton were grown by large estates established by investors linked to the colonialists, huge tea estates were set up in Mukono, Mityana, Mubende and Kabarole areas, all owned by either Indians or British. Timothy Sibasi, UBC TV.
Meanwhile, the Office of the Prime Minister, through the Prime Minister's Delivery Unit, in collaboration with the National Curriculum Development Centre, NCDC, has initiated consultations with York Express, a London-based organisation specialising in educational consultancy. The aim is to further develop a skills-based learning system in Uganda. The consultation meeting was held at Latitude Hotel in Machindia, Kampala.
The head of the Prime Minister's Delivery Unit, Robert Kasule Sebunya, highlighted that consultations are being conducted to aid in the modernization of Uganda's education curriculum to align with the evolving global standards. He emphasized the ongoing engagement with York Express to expedite the overhaul of Uganda's education system, ensuring it meets the needs of the current generation. Sebunya expressed optimism that the engagement will lead to the development of a more responsive and contemporary curriculum.
After perusing through their literature on curriculum development and the critical role they have played in education reforms globally, we saw an opportunity to engage further.
Dr. Benedict Nambi Karuhanga, the Deputy Director of Curriculum Review and Instructional Materials Development at NCDC, stressed the importance of education as a cornerstone for national development. She noted that Uganda requires human capital that is aligned with prevailing global and local conditions to foster growth.
And when we talk of quality human capital, we are talking about that human capital that can be able to solve the problems of our society.
Nambi further emphasized the critical role of collaborations in addressing gaps and challenges in Uganda's education sector.
If we must continue learning, we believe that partnerships and collaborations like these are ways in which we can enhance our skills. You can never know everything. It's more about sharing knowledge, identifying the gaps you have.
Teachers, representatives and stakeholders also shared their perspectives, emphasizing the need for a comprehensive review of the curriculum to meet modern demands.
Books and the teacher's guide, but the depth of the content that is written is wanting.
Sin O'Brien, an educational consultant from York Express, shared insights from their global experience. York Express has worked with numerous countries in developing frameworks for technical education, assessments, professional development, and content creation across various subjects such as ICT, English, Arabic, math, science, and social studies.
You do need to learn certain skills for certain job areas that directly affect this country. But it doesn't mean that you just have to learn those skills and leave the academia behind.
O'Brien expressed the organization's commitment to supporting Uganda's efforts in aligning its education system with international standards. Uganda is currently implementing the competency-based curriculum, which was incorporated into the thematic curriculum as part of ongoing reforms. I'm Navka Farida, reporting.
Uganda fire! Endiva fire! Abona fire! Uganda! Thank you for showing your fire! As Uganda Crane showed Congo, why number is called a Katino? Mayuwa wa mobili ngabuli Joe! Katika Uganda Crane steps on South Sudan on the 11th of October. Bring more fire and support even harder Nambole. Dial star 165 star 20 hash or go to buy ticket on the Momo app to get your discounted ordinary ticket at 20k on Momo. And it comes with a free train ride to Nambole. Cash is 25k. Game starts at 7 p.m. The first two Nel special beers go for 1k each when you buy with Momo at MTN Gavut Day. Uganda Cranes Fire! MTN Fire! Proudly brought to you by MTN, the #1 supporter of Uganda's football. Together, truly unstoppable.
kids, we're going to count today. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Enjoy 5 ways to love your baby, smoothen and protect your baby's skin with 5 new gentle formulations. Original to nurture your baby, aloe vera to protect your chibubu skin, cocoa butter to comfort your pinku, mild scent to soothe your little one, and avocado to soften your buju skin. Available in all supermarkets, retail shops, and cosmetics shops near you. Move it, baby jelly. All day confidence.
To help businesses recover from the impact of COVID-19, government introduced a tax amnesty through a waiver of interest and penalty on outstanding principal tax as at June 30th, 2023. Accordingly, URA has since July 2024 been implementing this waiver. To benefit, simply pay your outstanding principal tax by December 31st, 2024, and the waiver is applied automatically upon payment confirmation. This amnesty applies to domestic taxes, namely income tax, rental tax, payee, and others. Grab this golden opportunity today. For more, use the platforms displayed.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
It's true what people say, that when I wash and you wash your hands with soap, we'll have less infections as Ugandans. After all, it's hands that handle money. It's hands that feed us. Hands that prepare soil for farming. Hands that we use to learn. And hands that we use for fun.
When I wash and you wash, it means clean hands for all. So, wash your hands with soap and clean water regularly to keep away infections and disease-causing germs. This message is from the National Hand Washing Secretariat with support from UNICEF.
Welcome back. You are also watching News Tonight. Once labeled a human zoo by colonialists due to its perceived backwardness, Karamoja sub-region is now undergoing a significant transformation. With improved road networks, better education systems and enhanced healthcare, the region is shaking off its old image. However, locals in Karamoja are calling for further focus on restoring total peace, implementing compulsory boarding education for learners, and ensuring food security. As Uganda celebrates 62 years of independence, we take a closer look at Karamoja's journey before and after the country's freedom.
The Karamoja sub-region in that northeastern Uganda, bordering Kenya and South Sudan, consists of 9 districts inhabited by agro-pastoralist communities. In the 18th century, Ethiopian and Swahili ivory traders introduced cattle and guns to the area, leading to the exploitation of its elephant population in exchange for security and labor.
With their tusks, elephant tusks, and they made some people to carry as slaves. For example, my father, Loreka Isa, he was one of those that was brought by the Arabs. He's from Sudan. He was brought by the Arabs and he was carrying the elephant tusks as a slave. But when they reached Moroto district in Nakiloro, he was able to say, no, I'm not ready for that. So he joined the British, who were already
Arabs come in the name of ivory traders. I'm told those are the people who introduced the guns in Karamoja, though at a very small amount.
But the Karamojong knew how to make the blacksmith using, blacksmiths to prepare the gun, the spears, the arrows.
Before British colonization, Karamoja was sparsely populated, lacking infrastructure and healthcare, resorting to herbs for treatment.
former Karamoja during that colonial era, and a lot of illiteracy. Because you find that people were naked. That time, people were staying in the bushes. They were eating wild fruits.
In terms of sickness, they used to use the roots of trees. You know, these local herbs. That's what the Karamoja used to. And I think
in 1933, Canon Robert Shepherd Clark arrived as part of the Bible Christian Missionary Society, establishing a church and schools at Lotome, Napak district.
The British, Karamoja, in 1908, they started in Napak district in a place, they entered through Napak in a place called Kayepas. Kayepas, there they were confronted by the locals who fought them with the spears when they had the guns, and there they overpowered the people, and they came to a place called Kabukonkoi. That was another confrontation they had. After those battles, they were able to defeat the natives, and they marched to Moroto.
The junior, and that side was the PTC. That side was primary. The church and the community, we had a clinic.
The British aimed to spread Christianity and education, but viewed Karamoja as a human zoo.
People see a car, they run to the bush. So simply an illiteracy, our people had Karamoja was called a human zoo.
It made a human zoo. So to a special place which had interest, which was, for which they had interest, ensuring that they have all of what control over Karamoja.
As Uganda approached independence, British authorities were reluctant to relinquish control over Karamoja. However, Milton Obote advocated for the region to be integrated with the rest of Uganda.
To be outside of the colonial, independence system. But the British, the Ugandans at that time, I think in Lancaster, they said, Karamoja should not be left behind. But otherwise, they wanted the Karamoja to be given time for them to remain Karamoja in order for them to have time to develop Karamoja, because it had gone backward, it had remained backward in the rest of the region.
Since independence, Karamoja has seen significant changes, including the development of road networks such as the tarmac road connecting to Soroti to Moroto, and near-completion projects linking Karamoja to Kenya. Karamoja can also be accessed by air through Nadunget Airdrome in Moroto district and Kidepo Airdrome in Karenga district, with plans underway to upgrade them into full airports. Elders explain how education has evolved since independence.
We have already realized we have secondary schools by each sub-county, 6 secondary schools. Then there are primary schools by each sub-county, 302. Health centers.
Development coming. We are now hearing government wants a secondary school in every sub-county. Forgetting that, where will they get the children to feed all these secondary schools they will want to have in every sub-county? How many the sub-counties do we have? In Moroto alone, we have about 80 sub-counties. Out of the 80 sub-counties means we shall have how many secondary schools? 8 secondary schools. Now, why shall we get these children? And yet children are still in schools, are still in the villages.
Despite historical insecurity characterized by cattle rustling and gun violence, relative peace has been restored. Government has held disarmament campaigns amidst resistance.
Yes, we are realizing good security because there is deployment of the army, the patrol to protect the communities.
Karamoja region has minerals where factories like the Maple plant in Rupa and the clinker factory in Nadunget have created jobs for local communities. However, there remains social issues like forced marriages and child labor, high poverty levels, food insecurity, environmental degradation that has resulted into climate change. The Karamojongs want to focus on agriculture and compulsory education to drive development in the region.
We could motorize the boreholes we have, then we now irrigate. It's also a solution to fight against is irrigation. You irrigate, you pull to gardens and everything.
The government now organized to see on how they have removed the guns. Now they should also disarm children from being there. Let the government use the forces system to grab all the child-going children, bring them to schools, primary schools, by having so many boarding schools all through, boarding schools only. These children are detached from their parents.
I am Marion Awori and Maureen Iga for UBC.
And the organizers of the Twende Butiama pilgrimage, which honors former Tanzanian President Mwalimu Julius Nyerere, have assured pilgrims that all preparations are in place. The pilgrimage will take place at Nyerere's ancestral burial site in Butiama, Tanzania. The pilgrimage to Mwalimu Julius Nyerere's birthplace coincides with Uganda's 62nd independence anniversary, now reflecting Nyerere's aspirations for a unified African continent.
In July 2024, Africa Mashariki Fest, in collaboration with the Ugandan government and other partners, launched the Twende Butiama pilgrimage campaign. This initiative marks 25 years since the passing of Mwalimu Julius Nyerere and 25 years since the revival of the East African community.
As young people, we are going to have a sit down to dialogue and take stock of the 25-year journey of the East African community.
To call upon each and every person, all Ugandans, to be part of this, and let's come and create history together. We are going to be having different people from all the corners of Africa. I call upon students, leaders, I call upon people from the central government, from local government, and private individuals.
The pilgrimage, set for Monday 14th October, will be celebrated under the theme espousing Mwalimu Julius Nyerere's legacy and enduring values. The event will include a dedication of his canonization intercession for sainthood.
With the Mass at Butiama Cathedral to commemorate and to pray for Mwalimu's canonization process towards the sainthood. That is the first event in the morning. After that, pilgrims will have an opportunity to tour around the ancestral home of Mwalimu.
As the countdown to the event continues, Dr. Tendo, head of the organizing committee, unveiled the transport means for the journey. He noted that only a few booking slots remain.
It's my humble appeal to fellow Ugandans, fellow East Africans residing in Uganda to embrace this journey. We still have slots left on the Bombardier, which is a chartered flight, and also on our buses, Karamoja's buses.
UBC TV visited the Uganda Airlines Bombardier and Karamoja buses in Entebbe and Kampala, confirming that preparations are in place.
At 11 p.m. from Makerere University Freedom Square, en route to Mutukula at the border of Uganda and Tanzania. Another group of pilgrims who are going to fly aboard our chartered Bombardier, Sierra J900 of Uganda Airlines. This flight will depart on Sunday night.
Those traveling by road will be escorted by police traffic vehicles along with ambulances to ensure safety on the journey to and from Butiama.
Equipped with our ambulance to escort the pilgrims who are traveling to Tanzania and to encounter any medical emergency that may arise.
The late Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere, who passed away in 1999, is remembered for founding the East African Community in 1967. Although the East African Community collapsed in 1977, it was later revived on 7th July of 2000.
We are witnessing currently the spirit of the integration seems to be bogged down because of one thing, lack of commitment from the leadership. So as young people, we are going to have a sit down, and the discussion we are going to have will result into the Butiama Accord, where we are going to put on paper our demands as young people on the future of the East Africa that we envision.
Several high-profile dignitaries are expected to attend the event, including Tanzania's President Samia Suluhu Hassan, Mama Maria Obote, and the late Nyerere's widow. Delegates from the East African Community member states and beyond will also be present. Twende Butiama. Ivan Juko for UBC.
And the 6th Bishop of Namirembe Diocese, Bishop Moses Banja, has applauded government for the new lower secondary education curriculum that he implores students to embrace for their betterment. He was at Buddo Senior Secondary School where he led a confirmation and dedication of candidates' service.
Uganda's education trajectory has taken it through various processes that have, in the interim, climaxed with the new lower secondary curriculum. This curriculum has been well embraced by education institutions and the church, with Namirembe Diocese Bishop Moses Banja, the latest to speak its goodness.
Ensomesa empya abaana baffe abali mu siniya ey'okuna gye bagenda okutandika okukola abamu baatandise n'okutandika naye nga curriculum eyo nungi nnyo kubanga omwana agenda okuva mu ssomero ng'ayize obuyiiya n'okukola ebintu eby'enjawulo ebiyinza okutugaza kwega atava buvi mu ssomero n'agenda eyo n'atandika okuyiiya abamu baganeeyiya omu ajja n'asaba n'emirimu n'omugadi oyagala mulimu ki ogulwo gwonna asobola okugukola naye bano abali mu curriculum eno bagenda kuba n'emirimu gyabwe kuba batendekeddwa bulungi okuviira ddala wano banaagenda eyo bagenda tugasa nnyo.
Bishop Banja was gracing service for about 170 confirmants and dedication prayers for more than 1,000 A and O-level Buddo SS and Kisozi High School students that are bracing for the first examinations under the new curriculum.
The new curriculum is much better than the old. It's no longer about cramming facts, which have been characterized by forgetting, failure to interpret. This one is a new arrangement of questions. It is testing mental abilities. It's like a puzzle. You get a problem, you show how you are going to solve it. So it is testing innovation, creativity, and problem-solving skills. It is mainly about critical thinking. So the children have been acquiring the skills of answering questions and being able to give solutions to life. So it is preparing them for a creative economy. They are going to be creators of jobs, not job seekers. This is what this new curriculum has been doing.
Buddo Senior Secondary School is one of those in the country that ably incorporates education and sports with full commitment to extracurricular activities like music, dance and drama.
Narua District Woman Member of Parliament Lilian Paparu has urged parents and stakeholders to prioritize education by ensuring that children stay in school. Speaking in line with this year's Independence Day theme, Paparu emphasized that education is the greatest commitment Ugandans can make to secure the future of the next generations. However, district leaders have expressed concern over the increasing school dropout threats in both primary and secondary schools, citing illegal discourse as a significant contributing factor. These issues were highlighted during the district's Independence Day celebrations held at Arivo Primary School in Arua district. Meanwhile, Kasese district has commemorated 9 Resistance Council officials who were killed by the National Army for the Liberation of Uganda, NALU, during the independence celebrations in 1989. As Uganda marks 62nd Independence Day today, the families of the 9 victims have called on government and President Museveni to acknowledge their sacrifice. On October 9th, 1989, while Uganda was celebrating its 27th independence anniversary from Britain, a group of gunmen raided Busyangwa village in Kithola sub-county, Bukonzo West, Kasese district at around 5 a.m.
By the time they withdrew, the attackers, disguised as soldiers of the National Resistance Army, NRA, now the Uganda People's Defence Forces, UPDF, had murdered 9 RC officials, now known as local council officials. The attackers, belonging to the now defunct NALU, accused the RCs of collaborating with President Yoweri Museveni and his luring NRM. According to Charles Mohindo Mosema, a survivor of the NALU attack, the government has never recognized these individuals as having died in the line of duty.
In myself, I lost my properties because I was a government representative. They looted my shop. My children are in school.
After his death, the things were so bad, very bad, because the life was not easy.
These urge the government to acknowledge the families who lost their loved ones due to the Nalu attack.
I'm not happy with the government because they have neglected the families of those people who were killed on government service.
The resident district commissioner for Kasese, Lieutenant Joe Walusimbi, confirmed that security in the district has normalized and expressed gratitude to the communities neighboring the Democratic Republic of Congo for their intelligence sharing.
Been here attending mass in remembrance of the foreign comrades of us who died during the ADF attacks. But people are okay, and the security situation is normal, and people are doing their own work.
In response to the victims' outcry, the State Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Honorable Godfrey Kabyanga, apologized on behalf of the government for not recognizing these individuals. He promised to convey the message to the President for consideration.
I'm going to follow it up. I've already started following it up with my sister, Honorable Alice Kaboyo of Ruenzori Ruwero Triangle. So from here I'm going to give her a report so that probably at an opportune time these families can be assisted.
He urged the families of those who lost their loved ones to remain calm and engage with government programs like the Parish Development Model PDM and Emyoga.
Uganda Manufacturers Association celebrates 30 years of industrial excellence. Come and be part of the 30th UMA International Trade Fair at Lugogo from the 2nd to the 10th of October. We celebrate 30 years of industrial excellence with an education pavilion, an agricultural pavilion, and a job skills development pavilion for job seekers. There will be lots of fun, entertainment, and business opportunities. Come and be part of this great journey and milestones. Entrance fee is only 10,000 shillings. If you want an exhibition stall, call +256 0703 552 444 or visit the UMA website, powered by Total Energies, Hisense, Smart Tech, and Stanbic Bank.
Indomie Instant Noodles is available in 3 flavors of chicken, beef, and vegetable. Buy your Indomie Instant Noodles in supermarkets and dukas near you anywhere across Uganda. Indomie Instant Noodles, Uganda's best-loved noodles.
The Ministry of Health informs the general public that there are some cases of Mpox detected in Uganda. The ministry, working with partners and affected district local governments, are doing their best to contain the situation. The signs and symptoms of Mpox are body rash, fever, general body weakness, headache, sore throat, nasal congestion or cough, and swollen lymph nodes. You can prevent yourself from getting infected with Mpox by avoiding close contact with people who have been confirmed to have Mpox or who have signs and symptoms of Mpox, avoiding touching or sharing personal items like beddings, eating utensils, phones, or other belongings of a person who has the signs and symptoms of Mpox. Avoiding contact, including eating with all wild animals, alive or dead, especially those known to carry the virus, such as rodents and monkeys, and those that appear sick or have been found dead. Getting vaccinated if you're among those who have been identified to be at high risk of Mpox infection. Mpox is treatable and usually goes away after 2 to 4 weeks. However, it can be severe, causing even death, especially among children, pregnant women, and those with other health conditions. For more information and support, contact your nearest health worker. Call the Ministry of Health's toll-free line on 0800 100 066 or send a free SMS to YouReport on 8500.
Made in Mbale, the ultimate trade show and expo 2024. Join us for an exciting showcase of Made in Uganda industrial products, proudly presented by Honorable Minister Evelyn Anite and Chairman Tiang Tangru Paul Sang. The trade show will be held at Mbale Industrial Park on 18th and 19th October 2024. Come and experience the best of Ugandan industry, all products from Mbale Industrial Park. Entrance is absolutely free. The chief guest, His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, with other guest speakers including the Vice President, Her Excellency Jessica Lupo, the Prime Minister, the Right Honorable Robin Nabanja, the Minister of Finance, Honorable Matia Kasaija. The Mbale Industrial Trade Show and Expo by Uganda, Build Uganda, powered by the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development.
Now in business news, thousands of young Ugandans continue to use any possible means to travel abroad in search of employment due to the unfavorable economic situation at home, is according to Oloka Kenneth, the President, KO Association Uganda. Speaking to UBC, Oloka emphasized the urgent need for concerted efforts to improve the working conditions for Ugandans living and working in the diaspora.
The high rate of unemployment in Uganda is driving many youths to leave the country in large numbers, seeking for greener pastures abroad. In the recent years, the Middle East has surpassed other regions as Uganda's favorite destination for Ugandans seeking employment through labor externalization. However, the situation out there is not rosy for the hundreds of thousands of Ugandans, says Oloka Kenneth, the President, Cheo Association of Uganda.
Most of our workers finish their contracts and they are not repatriated back. Most of them are denied their salaries, and others paid in halves or quarters or not paid at all. Yes. Others even return home with broken limbs, with broken backs, with broken legs. Kidneys. Yes, with missing body parts, and nobody is there to cater for them. Even their children, they have beneficiaries. The parents are just left there to wonder because the person who was fending for them some survival is no longer operating or is now gone, because others come back when dead.
Despite the torture, exploitation, and even death, the number of Ugandans eager to try their luck in the Arab world continues to rise.
Most of our fellows finish campus or have not reached that high level of education, but when they want to work, there are no jobs. Or even the available jobs do not pay such a survival minimum. Most of the jobs, in accordance to the World Bank and the Private Sector Foundation, pay between 150,000 to 350,000. Yet a month, Ugandan consumes more than 1 million. So how do you expect a person to remain in Uganda? That's why a person will find it easier to be trafficked to Iraq, to go to Saudi Arabia, to be trafficked up to Canada, simply because that person is looking for a job and is looking for survival or a higher salary.
In response to these challenges, communities, organizations, and associations have come together to form an umbrella body, the Federation of Uganda Migrant Workers Association, FAUMA.
We are going to have a unified and concerted leadership, a unified and concerted representative body where we are not represented by the traffickers, by the companies, nor the MPs who have just come from Budaka to Kampala, but by our own selves.
Top on FAUMA's agenda is to create a unified database of migrant workers, campaigning against human trafficking and tackling the issue of irregular migration, particularly to the Middle East.
The message is to the government to better the situations here on ground, so that we remain here.
Dennis Igoa, for UBC News.
Brought to you by... Download the Wendy app from Google Play or App Store or dial *229#. Wendy Wanaoli.
And our sports brigadier Flavia Byekwaso has withdrawn from Netball Uganda presidential race, citing concerns over the transparency and governance. This decision, she said, was difficult but necessary due to concerns over what she called bias, procedural impropriety and glaring irregularities in the election process. Byekwaso outlined 5 key reasons behind her decision, highlighting management and accountability issues that date back to April 2023, when the Ministry of Education and Sports instructed the National Council of Sports to withdraw the Federation Certificate of Recognition of its leadership that did not adhere to restructuring guidelines. Consequently, the NCS revoked the certificate, though it did not formally dissolve the federation.
This has not been an easy decision for me, but after careful consideration of the reasons hereunder, I find myself unable to participate in a contest marred with bias, procedural impropriety and glaring irregularities. A Uganda Netball Normalization Committee, with the blessing of World Netball, was put in place and given a clear mandate to wit, run the day-to-day business of Uganda Netball Federation, streamline the federation up to the election of a new executive. Unfortunately, the Normalization Committee overstepped its mandate and disgraced into business way out of the specific terms of reference ordained to it. This has caused a lot of confusion and made the Federation a worse organization to run the netball sport in the country. We are protesting the kind of arrangement that is being put in place. That is gagging. We are doing a constitution and we had this whole letter purportedly from World Netball saying we are going to ban you. If you complain, we shall ban you. Yes, that is the environment under which we are working. That is what we have been reduced to, that whenever you speak, whenever you go to the press, World Netball is going to ban you. World Netball, because you have taken this to press. So we are gagged. We have members who already raised this complaint. So if all this put right, definitely we shall come back.
I wasn't comfortable with what was stated in the guidelines of the Normalization Committee for me to be a member. And my viewers outside there, I have spoken to them and I have confirmed that I have stepped down.
Well, and that does it for news tonight. Thank you for sticking with us throughout the hour. Elizabeth Nakakoni on sign language. I am Rhoda Ngonzi. Happy Independence.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
The East Africa UK Tourism and Cultural Expo 2024 is here, happening on 8th and 9th of November.